Hello and welcome back to our Batman the Animated Series episodes commentary. And today's episode is one that is very interesting called The Riddler's Reform. So it's another episode of this show where we see a villain character having a second chance in life and coming back to Gotham after being imprisoned. So as usual, let's do our countdown so we can watch the episode together. If you have your DVD box set or Blu-ray box set or streaming service with Batman the Animated Series, let's go in 3, 2, 1, give it a play. So the Warner Bros. Logo is on the screen. And now the opening of The Adventures of Batman and Robin. So yes, the Riddler's Reform is an episode. I think it's the third or fourth appearance of this character in the show. We had his introduction in the episode "If You're So Smart, Why Aren't You Rich?" And then we had, I think, a couple more appearances of him, if I'm not mistaken. And the Riddler is a character that I always loved. I always think this is a character that can really, challenge Batman in the whole, in a more cerebral way than any other Batman villain. And this is a very interesting aspect of this character since he's also a detective, right? So probably the Riddler represents adventures or stories that deal more with the whole detective side of Batman. And this is pretty cool. And here, as I said, this episode is a kind of a trend in the show where we see a villain having a second chance in life. We had an episode with Catwoman in the past with this plot as well. We had an episode, I think we still didn't have the episode. We still didn't comment the episode of Harley Quinn, which is one of my favorites in this show, where she also gets a second chance. We also have a Harvey Dent episode where he gets not exactly a second chance, but he's there is a whole plot with him maybe going back to society, and of course we had the Penguins episode, right, where he's also released. A great episode. I love that episode where he also gets a second chance in society and all that stuff. So yes, this is a trend in this show. We have many episodes with villains getting this second chance. And the episode starts with Batman and Robin, uh, stopping the Riddler and his goons from stealing this box from a warehouse, and as usual, they're trying to stop his plans, and all of a sudden, this old man shows up and says that the Riddler is not stealing this box, but he's actually is a business partner. This guy's name is Charles Baxter, and he's president of a multimillionaire company that makes toys. And he's working, as he says, he's working with the Riddler in a toy that the box is actually a toy that is a Riddler game for kids. So the Riddler explains that he is working with this company to go back to society and actually do something good with his intelligence and bring, of course, millions of dollars to this company so that they can produce these toys created by him. It's a very interesting plot, in my opinion. Like I said, I love the fact that the Riddler is always this cerebral guy, and Batman has to deal with him in a whole other area and in a whole other camp of wit and not physicality in this case. Also, I love the fact that the Riddler stories always have puzzles and traps that Batman has to solve in order to to deal with the Riddler. So, in a way, you can say that Edward Nygma is basically almost like a jigsaw character, and of the Saw movies that, you know, he creates these traps for our hero. And Batman being intelligent and knowing that the whole conversation of Nygma saying that this whole crime stuff is actually something from the past. He's past that. He's back to being this good guy and back to be a normal citizen. Batman obviously knows that this is a message. Actually, is not exactly what he means. That's what I like about the Riddler. Nothing that he says is actually what he means. He's always giving puzzles and traps even in his words to Batman, and Batman has to put the pieces together in order to understand what are his actual plans. And this is exactly what happens. He sees the facade of the toy factory that the Riddler is working, and he realizes that there is an anagram in one of the names of the factory that is related to something the Riddler said before about this whole thing being something from the past, this whole criminal life being something from the past. And also, since the Riddler is working with this toy company, there are already commercials in TV with him being the protagonist of these commercials. And he, as usual, the Riddler, he tries to send encrypted messages to Batman through these commercials in the form of numbers or things that Batman has to put the clues together. I love this element of these stories, and this is probably from all the versions of the Riddler character, this one is my favorite one from this show. As most of these characters from the animation, they are my favorite versions of their personas. But anyway, yeah. So Batman also realizes that the numbers that the Riddler passed on the commercial, uh, they are actually words. If you turn them upside down, and this leads to an avenue, actually the name of an avenue, a street in Gotham. And this is where he's gonna find the Riddler. But of course, this is all a trap from him, from the Riddler to get Batman, to think that he is again back in his criminal deeds, which he is, of course. We will know that, but apparently is all a trap from the Riddler to put Batman in this bad situation where he doesn't know if the Riddler is actually back or not. So we're gonna, as usual in these kinds of plots, we're gonna have always this doubt whether the character is actually returned to his criminal deeds or not. We know that in the end they will, but that's the idea of this kind of story, to put the doubt in the mind of the audience as well. And also, there is an interesting element that I love about these kinds of plots, that in terms of criminal justice, is pretty, it is not logic at all, the fact that these villains are, back to society so quickly as they are in the show. Probably by their evil deeds, they would get many more years in prison. Of course, they escape all the time, but when we talk about reforming these villains, they wouldn't get this they wouldn't get this sentence so easily, or they wouldn't get this relief from justice so easily. So, but it's an interesting element because it also implies that in Gotham City, these characters, the Riddler and the Joker and Penguin and all these guys, they are almost like celebrities now. So their myths, their existence in this society turns them into more than just, evil uh, criminals. They are famous and popular, and now you see the Riddler being in a commercial for kids. He's a propaganda boy for, or the perfect propaganda boy for this toy company, especially because the popularity of these villains. And this is something that I always love about the lore of Batman and Gotham City and these villains, is the fact that in a very bizarre and dark way, even though we are talking about criminals, sometimes murderers, they become these, myths of society that in some way or another, they really play into the narrative of the legend that is this town, this metropolitan city. You know, um, Gotham City wouldn't be Gotham without these figures, and this is why what makes this whole lore so interesting is that we are talking about, you know myths. We are talking about, you know uh, famous figures uh, in Gotham, and more than any other rogues gallery from other superhero, Batman rogues gallery is the one that we have these legends of both crime and from justice. In the case of Batman, as much as Batman is famous and became the celebrity, they also became this. Um, and that's another element that I love about it. So anyway, the Riddler now, he's really enjoying his new lifestyle of being this amazing popular propaganda boy for the toy company. He's actually getting, attention from the women, which is probably something that he never got before. And Batman is on him. I mean, Batman is onto him, onto his deeds. So he knows the Riddler is hiding something, and this is a very interesting element of this episode. There is a lot of a good chunk of the episode takes place in a rainy Gotham. We have rain; it's raining all the time, and there was this very cool scene with Batman being lured into one place where Riddler's goons were committing a crime, and he chased them. But he chased them. Robin got injured, of course, because he always gets injured. But Batman chased the criminals in the facade of the building because they were using this platform, this lift platform, that for these window cleaners. And Batman was basically uh, going down the rope of this platform after them. And it was a pretty cool scene, pretty well shot, with Batman, uh, going down in this rope, and during this very stormy night, with the rain all around him. It was pretty cool shot. And then now we see the Riddler. I love this part of the episode because again, the Riddler, Batman went to the party that the Riddler was at, and he talked with the Riddler, and the Riddler managed to embarrass Batman in front of all the guests of the party. But at the same time, Batman left the message to him, a pretty clear message that he is on to him. He knows that he is planning something evil. So no matter what happens, Batman will get him sooner than later. And we see the Riddler getting very depressed and talking to his goons later, saying, he's right. he's going to catch me one way or the other, and sooner than later. So why am I doing this? Why am I doing this whole, game of trying to catch Batman? And he's gonna get me. So he kind of changes his plans, to put an end to the whole thing. He's going to come up with a final riddle to actually get Batman and kill him, like every villain wants, right? So this time he's gonna do a trap for Batman to fall that will, kill Batman for good. And this is where we're gonna have, I think, a very cool ending in this episode. One ending that it gets stuck in your memory for its for how the events unroll in here. And this time, this plan involves Batman going into this toy store. Sorry. And as usual, he has to put some pieces together and understand where the leads will take him, and to be able to get the Riddler. And when he gets to the toy store, there are all these leads in the usual Riddler manner that takes Batman into this trap. First, the Riddler appears and shoots him, but he hits in a kind of a glass with water. And when Batman tosses his Batarang on Riddler, is actually a doll, and is a inflated doll. And when the doll, bursts and all air deflates from him, he falls to the ground, but he falls pointing to one arrow, and this arrow points to another direction. And then then Batman finds this Riddler box, and when he opens the box, there is this huge television, and the Riddler sends a message to Batman saying, "Okay, you have less than 10 seconds to escape from here. This is the end game. This is it. I'm gonna kill you now. I'm done with this game." And he says to Batman to look up, and when Batman does, he sees this huge bomb that, there's no way for Batman to escape. He fell into the trap, and there was simply no time for Batman to escape this time. So the bomb explodes, and we don't see what happens, but we suppose that Batman is dead. And then we see the Riddler tossing his Riddler uniform or his Riddler costume into the fire, saying, "Okay, this is it. Batman is dead. I did what I had to." Simple like that. And then after he does this, Batman shows up again. He shows up in his lair and fights his goons, and the Riddler is completely struck by how is Batman alive? He just couldn't escape from that. That was the end game, like he said. He did the plan just for Batman to die, to put an end to all this. So how did he do it? How did he escape this time? How Batman could escape something so mortal? And Batman, and he gets so obsessed with this question that he asks Batman, "Please tell me, how did you escape? It was impossible. Nobody could have survived that." And then Batman says, "Let's do a deal. You tell me where is everything that you stole, and I'll tell you how I escaped." And then Batman is using this toy that is a recorder, and this recorder actually transmits the voice of the person speaking to other similar toys, and Commissioner Gordon had one, and he listened to all the confession of the Riddler. But Batman doesn't tell the Riddler how he escapes, and Enigma gets completely obsessed and paranoid, and he screams, How did you escape? You must tell me." And this is wonderful. This is one of my favorite endings because after we also don't know how he escaped, right? So Batman, after all this stuff, he goes back to Wayne Manor, and during a coffee with Dick Grayson, he actually tells him how he did it. And there is this flashback showing that, Batman actually escaped the whole thing in the most simple way, that is hiding inside a vault that conveniently was in the store as well. So that's how he did it. And then in the ending, the very ending of the episode, we get to see the Riddler back in Arkham Asylum, and he's just shouting out of his lungs, "I must know how he did it. Please, someone tells me." He basically goes insane, and the other inmates, including the Joker, are just, completely annoyed by his rant. And this is it. The Riddler's Reform. Very cool episode. I like it a lot, and also expands the the lore of this character in the show. And this is it. Thank you very much. If you are liking the content of BATGUS, please don't forget to leave your beloved like and your wonderful subscription so we can keep talking about Batman and this universe forever. All right? See you in the next Bat video, and bye-bye.